Welcome back. Welcome back. Can you hear me in the live stream? Please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. That would be super helpful as I continue forward, because I don't want to just talk and then nobody can hear me. Can you hear me? Let me see it in the chat. Even if you can't, let's see here. I got Aesop's Fables. Sounds like everybody can hear me. Let's just make sure. Let's just get a quick Aesop fable in here. The wolf and the lamb. Let's see here. You guys see that photo? Look how good that is. I'm a huge nerd for Aesop's Fables. The wolf and the lamb. A wolf came upon a lamb straying from the flock and felt some reluctance about taking the life of so helpless a creature without some plausible excuse. So he cast about for a grievance and said, "Last year, sir, you grossly insulted me." "That's impossible, sir," bleated the lamb, "for I wasn't born then." "Well," retorted the wolf, "you feed in my pastures." "That cannot be," replied the lamb, "for I have never yet tasted grass." "You drink from my spring, then," continued the wolf. "Indeed, sir," said the poor lamb, "I have never yet drunk anything but my mother's milk." "Well, anyhow," said the wolf, "I'm not going without my dinner." And he sprang upon the lamb and devoured it without more ado. Hypocritical speeches are easily seen through, and that's why we're here today. Glad to see you all in the chat. Thank you for liking this video. If you do that, supposedly people are like, cool, I guess we'll watch it now. And seeing as I have, well, oh, let's see. Oh my God. If this guy reads this whole book, I'm out. Hey, my guy, Rob Swift. Sorry, dude. Might have to read the whole book today. Glad to have you all here. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We're obviously going to be talking about free agency. But yeah, had to get a little Aesop's Fables in there. Make sure you guys could hear me loud and clear. Yeah, my grandma used to read me that. Anytime we'd go sleep over grandma's house, used to read us Aesop's. I got that for Christmas this year. Great gift. Well, unfortunately, today I will not have a guest on. What I'm going to do is, actually, this is just silly. I don't need this. If you guys can hear me. Wanted to talk about free agency. Got a lot of stuff to go over. But the first thing that I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers returning to Green Bay. You know, I think initially when I saw that Rodgers was coming back, I immediately, there was like the heart sank. You know, my heart sank and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Here we go. Especially because the report came out that it was 4 more years. You get what I'm doing with the presidential chant there. No hat today. No David. I have it down there, but figure let the flow go. But yeah, listen, man. Aaron Rodgers coming back at first kind of like depleted my tank, my joy tank. It hurt. You see that, you're like, oh my God, here we go. 4 more years of Rodgers. However, the more I began to think about it, and I think a lot of people would agree, is if the Detroit Lions are to rebuild successfully, wouldn't we want to do it by beating the best in the business? Like, if the Detroit Lions can rebuild and take down the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, that's a successful rebuild. I don't want to do this and people say, oh, well, the only reason that the Detroit Lions won the North is because Aaron Rodgers left. He went to Denver, whatever. I really believe in this rebuild. I believe in Dan Campbell and in Brad Holmes and everything that's going on here in Detroit. And so with that, I want to win. And I want it to be the most successful way possible, and that's taking down Green Bay. That's taking down Aaron Rodgers. Just my own personal belief with it. Because, yeah, like I said, I think it would have been easy to have beaten them without Rodgers. Jordan Love, we saw what he was capable of last year, obviously going up against them. But I want to take down the big kahuna. My brother, who is a Buffalo Bills fan, has often said, you know, finally when the Bills got good, Brady left. He goes to Tampa Bay. And there's just something there where you're like, all right, we took down New England, but we didn't get to do it with Brady being there. And I want that here in Detroit, and I really think that we're going to do it. This year is going to be an interesting season as a whole, but I think come the following year, 2023, the Detroit Lions are on top. Adam, my guy, thank you for being here. I got to throw a little overlay in here so we can get everybody's comments into this. Let's see. Adam, dude, good to see you. Thank you, everybody. Going live. Trying to go live more often. I know it has been a little sporadic over the course of time, but want to try to get this going because I enjoy just hanging out, talking to you guys, seeing what you think. Jonathan Foster, I think you're right, Jay. But with all that being said, I'd rather he get his butt out of town. I don't disagree. Would have been really nice to see him leave, not have to be here anymore. But I want to beat them, and I want to beat them the right way because I want the national media to have to face the music and say, is Detroit legit? If they take down Aaron Rodgers 2 times in a year, 1 time in a year, and we give them a good beating, you got to own up. You got to understand. You got to say, all right, Detroit's here, and I think it's coming, just personally. Lions fan, Paulie, LFP. Hey, man, good to see you. Get to see you 2 nights in a row. I was over on Dose of Dion's show yesterday. So it's good to be back. I was on Dose of Dion's show, hanging out with him and Rad, and we just talked a lot of free agency, and that's stuff that I really want to talk about today. Ethan, my man, doing well. Thank you for asking. What's my 2 cents on the Khalil Mack trade? Good. My 2 cents are whatever we can do to make the North a better landscape for Detroit's success, I'm all about. I think Mack going to LA is going to terrorize that division. I think Mack's had up and downs last year specifically, but all in all, happy to see him out of the North. Happy to see that it's going to give Detroit better shot, specifically Chicago, something that I was talking about with Dose. Very interesting. It feels like Detroit started the rebuild at the perfect time. We are ahead of everybody else in the North. Obviously, Green Bay is still the captain at the tippy top. So not going to go into that. They brought Rodgers back, Devontae Adams with the franchise tag. However, when I look at us between Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago, Detroit's already ahead of those 2. They're ahead of Minnesota. They're ahead of Chicago. You can see Chicago's tearing it down, trying to start over. I think Detroit's ahead in the rebuild process. We did it right at the right time. Let's see here. Jake's Phipps. Hey, Jay, do you think the Lions will change their logo since they're eligible? Hey, good question. If anybody knows anything about me when it comes to the NFL, honestly, any team ever, I love uniforms. Like, I can't get enough. And it's because I'm a videographer. It's because I'm an artist. And so I think I just look at uniforms and I either love them, hate them. Anytime I watch a game, I just sit there and pick them apart. But do I think that the Lions should change their logo? The logo itself, no. I think if we were to rebrand, it's really the uniforms themselves. I know we're eligible in that front, and I would love to see us go back to a retro 90s look. I saw somebody put it out via, might have been Twitter. Actually, Adam and Woodward Sports, you guys put up something that I saw, and it kind of talked about the logo and the design. And I really like the old school 90s, but making them look a little bit more modern today. I'll have to find it, pull it up in a video here. But let's see. Just trying to go through the chat. Thank you, everybody, for liking this video, for hanging out, for chatting it up with me. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I get everything. Tim, my man, hey, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, Jonathan Foster, you're not wrong. The national media will never respect us no matter what we accomplish. I think it's going to be a long time before we get any respect here in Detroit. Now, Adam brings up a great point. A good pass rush covers up a bad secondary, and my assumption is this is in reference to the upcoming draft. Now, sweet motorcycle, thank you. When it comes to the draft, I've put out multiple videos just kind of talking about the draft. Hey, who should we get? None of it matters until free agency takes place. It's all apples and oranges. You don't really know what you're going to need, what the greatest void is for the draft until free agency happens. Obviously, that comes up here pretty soon. Next week, we're going to be getting into it. And so at this moment, a lot of people, you're looking at our secondary. You got people calling for Kyle Hamilton. I'm not on the Kyle Hamilton trade or train. I am all about Aiden Hutchinson or even Thibodeau. Between the two. Now, I think Thibodeau shows that he is not a culture fit here in Detroit. I just think you look at the combine as another example. You obviously had some issues in the actual season. Him at the combine saying it was a long day and just didn't go out there to me, not a culture fit in Detroit. Wow, we get a lot of good questions coming in here. First of all, thank you all for liking the video and for just being here. I know it's 4:45 on a Friday. You could be out drinking or doing push-ups. Either way, you're doing something good. Let's get into it here. The number one free agent target, Jonathan, my guy, thank you for asking. Tony also asking the same question, ideal free agent signings. Hear me out. Wide receiver from Green Bay, Allen Lazard. Now, I know that this is a wild one, and it's kind of one that might catch you off guard. But when I look at our wide receiver core here in Detroit, and when I look at free agency this year specifically, I'm not huge offensively on saying, let's throw big dollars out at a guy like Allen Robinson. I'm more looking at a guy like Allen Lazard, who you look at his production, you look what he was able to do in Green Bay, and he doesn't cost that much money. Now, I know that he's an exclusive or a restricted free agent at the moment, so it depends on what Green Bay does with him. But if we are able to toss $5 million at him, I think Allen Lazard really complements Josh Reynolds in a lot of ways, and we could use the two of them. You look at Lazard's stats, some of the stuff he's been able to do in Green Bay, I think he'd be a great fit here in Detroit. I really do. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Does that entice you at all? If not, that's all right. But I do think that Allen Lazard would be a solid pickup for us for minimal dollar bills. Yes, and you're not wrong. Adam, great point. The problem with Lazard is he doesn't give you the security you want at wide receiver. I do agree. I think that is what's tough about us right now, what's tough about Detroit and where we're trying to go. And I don't want to spend the big dollar bills on Allen Robinson. Now, if we were to do it, if that's what front office, if that's what management did, and they brought Allen Robinson in, would he produce? As long as he produces, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. But Allen Robinson costs a pretty penny. And so then you got to ask yourself, are we going to spend 17 mil on Allen Robinson, or would we rather spend 15 mil if we're going to do one big free agent signing? Allen Robinson or Marcus Williams? We all know it's going to come down to those two. Jake's Phipps coming in. Hey, Jay, what about Ritter at 34? You know what? A lot of people probably going to not like, I don't know. I guess it all depends, but I don't want to play around with a QB this year. I really don't. The only one who has shown me anything that's intriguing is Malik Willis. And it's really Malik Willis's similarities in a lot of way to Josh Allen. But that's the other thing is I don't want to just look at like a Josh Allen and him as a prototype and say, oh, let's just get him. He's going to be the next Josh Allen. That's not how it goes. That's not how it works. And so I don't want to come close to a QB this season. That being said, no matter what Holmes does, I'm going to choose to trust the process. If we picked up Ritter, if we picked up Willis, if we picked up Howell, I myself am going to be like, ooh, don't like that. However, I do trust Holmes and what he was able to do in this last draft. Hit, 6 out of 7? I mean, we really didn't get to see a lot of Jamar Jefferson this season, but I think that he was unbelievable when it comes to scouting talent. That's what he did in LA, and I really do trust him. Might not be my first inclination to be like, let's do it, let's get it. But all in all, Ritter, I would choose Willis over Ritter. Yeah, and I do agree. Lisa, I don't think that we should be drafting any QB in this year's draft. I agree. And this is what's hard. Penultimate calling it out. Malik is a gamble, and an edge rusher is a safer bet. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have said it 100 times, probably going to say it 1,000 times. I want to make it to the quarterback. I want to hit the quarterback. I want to put pressure on the quarterback, and that's why I think we need to get either Hutchinson or, at that point, maybe even Thibodeau. Again, I don't think he's a culture fit. I'd rather get Hutchinson. Hutchinson could be gone at 1. Yes, big one right here. Scott Langett, you must not have heard, signed, I'm sure you mean Jack Fox. Don't lose this guy. Jack Fox is back. We did. We re-signed him going into this season. Thank God. Can't lose him. Not yet. Yeah, Adam calling it out. Build the team while you have a bridge in place. Get the QB when the time is right. How do you say amen, hallelujah, other than saying amen, hallelujah? I agree. I just think right now with all these QBs, there's nobody that I look at and we're like, yeah, we need him. We need that guy. And we're at 2 and we can get him. Like, in this situation where we're at, QB is the sexy pick. Always has been, always will be. But I don't think that there's a QB right now sitting for us at this moment, unless it was our 3rd pick, 34. And by then, I don't even think any of those QBs are really worth it. Could be wrong. 4 years from now, could have a huge foot in my mouth. But we'll see. As long as we don't grab Davis at number 2. As long as we don't grab Davis. I think in that moment, I would be like, what did we do? Why did we do that? How would we get a QB later on if we don't now? Can't rely on trading up. No, I agree. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say is I don't want a QB. I think that's kind of my end result is I don't want one. We don't need a QB, but who could we sign as a backup? Alan Nelson, great question. Before Rich Eisen came out saying that this quarterback is going to be worth a butt ton of money, I was all about Mitch Trubisky. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but I think Mitch Trubisky, as Rich Eisen said, is going to get a huge payday. Before all that happened, I would have loved to have tried to snag him, the Lion Slayer himself. Mitch Trubisky has ruined many a Sunday for me. However, God, I would have taken him. Adam, your comment about Jordan Davis at number 2. Yeah, that would be devastating. And in that moment, all of my trust would just, I don't know what I do, probably have to take a long break. Hopefully, I'll be live streaming, not hopefully, we will be live streaming the draft, and we would experience that together. That would be super tough. But yeah, as I'm saying, away from the draft, because really, I think we have to take our eyes off the draft right now, and we got to focus on free agency because that determines the voids. That determines what you need, what you don't need, and really what you got to do going into the draft. So when I look at it, if I'm going to spend big dollars, it's Marcus Williams. Now, I don't love it. It's not like I'm out here and I'm like, we got to get him. It's, well, if we're going to spend the big money, I'd rather it be Marcus Williams because I really believe him coming in at 25 years old. He's super young. He has so much understanding, and the coaching staff understands him so well. They have developed him. Aaron Glenn working with him. I just believe he would fit in here like a linchpin. Similar to the way that Matty P brought Trey Flowers in, except for this one I think would be worth it. Adam, I appreciate that, man. You're going to be live on the 28th. Hey, dude. That'd actually be a blast. I'll get back to you on that one. Yeah. So for me, Marcus Williams, that's a big one. I think he would be worth it if we're going to spend big dollars. I think him working with the coaching staff would be huge. They know him. They know everything there is about him. Now, one guy that I do not want to see the Lions make a play for. Let me know how you guys feel in the chat. One guy I don't want to make a play for is Bobby Wagner. I don't think Bobby Wagner at his age, I've heard people calling out, oh, let's get him, veteran leadership, pull him in, linebacker. Derek Barnes would be successful learning under him. I just think he's too much money. Let me check what he is on Sport Track just to make sure what he's worth. Average salary. Because he was making pretty good money out in Seattle. Career earnings, let's see here. It's at 54 over 3 years. Yeah, so I think he would just cost far too much. He's 31, he's going to be 32 coming up here in the new season. Bobby Wagner is not a guy that I want to see the Lions pull in. Sam the man. Should the Lions sign Amari Cooper? No. Don't want it. Don't want him. Don't want him. Yeah, okay. Bobby Wagner, too old for where we are in the rebuild right now. Good point. All right, primetime plays. I think you're wrong. Wagner still has a lot left in the tank. Hey, listen, man. Can't disagree on what he's got in the tank. I think that there's still stuff to be had. I just don't know if for the price tag, right, if he was 54 over 3, that's too much money for Detroit to be shelling out to a guy who's 31 going on 32 by the beginning of the season. So that's where I would have my disagreement with you on that. But hey, I appreciate you dropping that in here. Good question regarding Godwin, Jonathan Foster. No, Godwin I believe he got franchise tagged. He either got franchise tagged or he got just simply re-signed. So he is no longer available. Williams from LA is no longer available as well. So it's kind of like the drying up of the well in the wide receiver world. Which is why, I read an article, can't remember where, he got tagged. Thank you, Continental Gamer. Very helpful. I saw an article. Somebody brought up Rashard Higgins. And Rashard Higgins, I just don't think is also, for $2 million. His production was really lackluster 2021. Granted, Baker Mayfield didn't have a year, so production wasn't there all around after his 2020 season where Rashard Higgins definitely stepped up. But, here's a great one. DJ Chark. Yes, I love Chark. I think that he'd be a great fit. Actually, my buddy, Dan, he's a Buffalo Bills fan. I had him on last time I live streamed. He brought up Chark, and I think that's a huge move. I think that Chark would be a great fit culturally here in Detroit, but also looking what he was able to do in Jacksonville, and they haven't made a move on him yet. I would be very open. Should the Lions trade for Jarvis Juice Landry? I think he was also taken. I believe Jarvis Landry's gone. I do not believe he is available anymore. Dan Spanos, my guy. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Let's see. The bottom line is we can't spend more than $15 million on free agents total this year if we still want to sign our rookies. No point in even looking at someone unless they backload their contract. Hey, thanks for dropping that in there. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough trying to figure out, so here's another great example. Oh my God, here we go. Perfect. Somebody threw it in here. Breeze, thank you, dude. Do you think we'll re-sign Charles Harris? So as we're talking about that money, right? Charles Harris is a very fascinating option because we haven't talked about it, but Trey Flowers, right? Trey Flowers, cutting him prior to June 1st. That saves us $10.3 million this year. with that 10.3 mil, what can we do with it? And it sounds like Charles Harris is going for $10.3 million, probably about $10 million. So in removing Trey Flowers, do you just take that money and push it over to Charles Harris? It's a great question, and Charles Harris really proved himself last year. Wow, the chat is just hopping. Thank you everybody for liking the video. Thank you for liking it. It helps push it to the top. It tells the robots working over at Google to make it better. Say, hey, you like the Lions? You wear Honolulu blue on a Sunday? You're great. So seriously, thank you for liking it. And if you guys have any thoughts, drop it into the chat. The chat's popping. It's really sweet to see you guys all going nuts down there, dropping all your thoughts in here. Will the Lions re-sign Tracy Walker? Sam the Man, I sure hope so. I think Tracy Walker is a must sign. And I know people disagree, but how often do we build up somebody here in Detroit just to trade them away? You build me up, Buttercup, just to let me down. And it feels like we do that far too often. And I think Tracy Walker, the way he was developed under Aaron Glenn, is a must re-sign. Just my personal opinion. Is he staying, or do we think he walks? It's a good question. I think it depends on the amount we offer him. Personally, I would not want to spend more than $4.5 million a year. That's kind of my cap. And I mean, it's also hard because, like, what is the NFL? What does it stand for? Not for long. And these players know that, so they're trying to get paid when they can while they're viable, while they're able to. And so it is a tough situation. But I look at this Lions rebuild, I think it's going to happen here. I think we're winning the championship. I think we're taking the North in 2023. This year is going to be, we're going to be right on the edge of wild card, but I think 2023, we take the North. Wow. Hey, everybody, thank you for just throwing all your thoughts in the comments. You guys are awesome. Let's see here. David, do you think that we re-sign Evan Brown? David, hear me out. I think that the Detroit Lions want to re-sign Brown, but I think Brown needs to test the waters. I think we miss out on Evan Brown. I think we do not bring him back simply because Evan Brown wants too much, and he knows with our O-line, with Ragnow, the whole kit and caboodle, Evan Brown's gone. That's my prediction is Evan Brown is out of here. Jude Bear, is Detroit going to keep Jared Goff for 2022? Absolutely. No questions about it, not a doubt about it. Jared Goff is our QB this season. I think is our QB next season. Quite frankly, when you look at Goff and how he progressed, it was a hard year. It was a hard year for him. There was a lot of mistakes, but you know what? I got to hang out with Adam over at Woodward Sports, and as I said, I really think that QB1 for the next 2 seasons will be Jared Goff. I don't think he's going anywhere. Brad Holmes believes in him, and unless the price is right, somebody came in and was willing to offer big dimes to pay out that contract that's still there, because the amount of money that we would still owe Goff, I think he's going to stick around. Stick around 2022 definitely, and 2023 more than likely. More than likely. Jonathan Foster, my God, I hope you're right, Jay. 2023 better be our year. I really believe it will. When you look at this rebuild and you look at one of the toughest things that Brad Holmes has had to do is work with the dollars. Like, I think so often we watch the game of football and we can forget how much, and it sounds simple, but how much the money matters. And what Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn did to us, dollar bill wise, was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And let me give you an example. Trey Flowers, $90 million over 5 years. And you look at what Brad Holmes has to do with the money, the way he's got to work with that dollar bill, the line, and trying to even us out. And it's just, there's so much difficulty in it. And so we got to get rid of guys like Trey Flowers. Would it have been nice to get rid of Trey after June 1st, absolutely, would have saved 16 mil. However, we need that money in free agency. We got to spend it now. We could take that 10 mil. Maybe we're going to use it on free agency. Hey, Dan, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. Go enjoy some dinner. I'm making dinner in the other room right now. Having sloppy joes tonight. But yeah, no, I think when you look at the money and you look at what we had to do, we had to come in now so we can use that money maybe on Charles Harris. Hey, Adam, calling it out. Holmes is so damn good at talent evaluation. I don't think we even need to consider it. I'm assuming you guys are talking about Willis, talking about QBs. Who will be the Lions' backup QB? Good question. I really think Blau is going to stick around. I don't think he's going anywhere. However, when I look, bring in Mariota. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Good question about the backup QB. I don't think Tim Boyle's sticking around. I do not think Deshaun Watson is coming to Detroit. I don't know if that's you. No worries, Adam. No worries. Yeah, I don't think Deshaun Watson is coming to Detroit. I think that's wishful thinking by some people. Not happening. Heard a lot of people, maybe Russell Wilson. Maybe. Listen, it ain't happening. Yeah, so all in all, when I look at it, man, when I'm looking at free agency, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Detroit does and where we pull the trigger, because I really think that this year, specifically free agency, is going to show a lot of where we're heading. Like, it's the funnel coming inward. Because you look at last year, the funnel was, got to sign a lot of one-year deals. Got to sign a lot of veterans on one-year deals. Bring them in here. Prove it deals. The Khalif Raymonds. You got, I'm blanking. You got the Khalif Raymonds. You got like the Alex Anzalonis. You have even Michael Brockers. I know it's longer than 1 year, but you have these guys coming in for shorter contracts to help try to build up, to fill the spots, see what they can do as we're developing the rookies. So that's like the wide funnel of the rebuild. And then we start coming in this year. And I think the free agency period is going to tell us a lot of, hey, where we're going. Hey, thank you guys all for liking the stream, for hanging out, for sharing it with your friends, chilling with me this Friday afternoon. Hope you guys sounds like some people are eating dinner. Somebody's eating a bagel. Throw some cream cheese on it. I'm a huge fan. I'm from New Jersey, right? Best thing you can order is a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, and everything bagel. And I know you're like, what did you just say? That's the whole point. You walk into a deli, you look up, you better know what you're going to order, because otherwise they're going to look right past you and say, next. You walk right in, you look the man in the eyes, you look the lady in the eyes, you say, can I get a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, and everything bagel? It is a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich on an everything bagel with salt, pepper, and ketchup. It's one of the best things you could ever have. It is, without a doubt, one of my favorite meals. Anytime I go back to Jersey, gonna get one. Gonna absolutely get one. Got a lot of hate for Malik Willis at number 2. A lot of people don't want it. Don't blame you. Hey, Adam, I appreciate the love, dude. I really enjoyed doing the live streams. It's been, I had a lot of problems with what program I was using and my camera. Obviously, I use the Sony A7C, so I like the picture quality. That's very important to me, is the picture quality, the audio quality. So I moved on from Streamlabs OBS, and I'm now using Ecamm Live. If anybody's interested, you're probably not. That's okay. Do I think, great question, Breeze. Great question coming in. Do I think we should re-sign Khalif Raymond? That's a tough one. I can tell you what I want. As a human being, I am a huge fan of Khalif Raymond. I think what Raymond did last year was outrageous. The way he was able to lay his body down there, throwing blocks, his speed, really getting converted over and taking deep shots down the field. Like, Khalif Raymond came in here and was very, very versatile. And I think that his versatility is incredibly, incredibly important as a weapon on this Detroit Lions team. So would I re-sign him? Yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't want a QB at number 2 at all, Tony. Yeah, that's accurate. Definitely do not. QB at number 2 is outrageous. Not a smart move. Adam, I will hit you up. I will hit you up regarding the problems that I've had. Could definitely use some expertise coming from somebody who built the studio over at Woodward Sports. If any of you have not watched or subscribed to Woodward Sports, please go do it. You're missing out on constant good content. Go look him up on YouTube. Definitely worth it. Let's see. Somebody calling out Ritter at 32 or 34 if he's available. I don't know, man. You know, the different, like I was saying, Ritter versus Willis. I would probably go Willis first, but I don't want to be spending money on QBs this year. I don't want to be spending draft capital on a QB this year. None of them are really there for me. None of them are really good enough. So many other needs than QBs. Yeah, baseball, I'm with you. I think I'm huge on building out the trenches. That's where the battle is won. That's where so much is shaped in the trenches, which is why I am edge rusher at 2. If we stay at 2. I mean, I would be huge on popping back, trading back from number 2, and really making a play for somebody else a little bit later in the draft. You know, it's tough because Kyle Hamilton, he's phenomenal. He's going to go early. He's going to go earlier than I think I want him to, than he should. But if we could trade back, that would be ideal for me. Oh, lots of love for Woodward Sports here in the chat. Yeah, if we take Hamilton at 2, I agree. Will not be happy. Hamilton or Davis at 2 will not be happy. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know what, Chrome? You bring up a good point about wide receivers. We know that Antoine Randall L. brought up wanting 1 wide receiver in free agency and 2 in this draft. And I got to say, we have a plethora of picks. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that we have 10 picks this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there is the possibility that we really do build it out in the draft, grab 2 wide receivers. It's wishful thinking, but it could happen. Primetime plays. Yo, this is blown up. Last time I had time off to watch a stream of yours, there was only 5 of us watching. Well, thank you. Thank you for being there when there was 5. Thank you for being there if there's 50. Thank you for being there when we're bumping at 200. Because it's coming. One day. I'm here for it. Somebody asked a good question. What would I pay for Charles Harris? Sam the man. Great question. Charles Harris. Charles Harris is tough because I believe he's going to be asking for 10 mil. Based off his production last year, some might point to it and say, yeah, he's worth it. I gotta say, I don't think he is, because 1 year of that caliber production, to me, 1 year is never enough to say, yeah, here's the big dollar bills. Like, look at somebody like Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he comes out this year and produces at the caliber that he produced last year in those last 7 games, or 9 games, and he comes out and his production value is just as high 2 years in a row, and it's just as high, getting better year 3, you're worth the money. But if you come out for one single season, I don't think I can say you're worth all 10 mil of what we just got from Trey Flowers. 8 million feels right. 8 million feels right per year. Look at that. Super Saiyan Lions, 2 years, 8 mil a year. Yeah, I like that. I like the amount of time. I like that it's shorter for 8 mil. See how you do. Prove it for 2 years. And then keep going. Ooh, what's the move if Hutchinson is taking it when? Well, Tony, as I've said multiple times on this stream, it all depends on what we do in free agency. You know, I could sit here right now and just be like, oh, like, you know, you grab Hamilton at 2, or no, then you grab Thibodeau at 2. I think it all just matters on free agency. So that is something that we will revisit after the week of free agency opens up. That's something that I'll revisit in about a week. Let's see here. If on the Lions, I move away from Tracy Walker and go get Marcus Williams and draft Lewis at 34. Interesting. Man, it's tough. Tracy Walker, you can get him for $4.5 million and continue to develop him under Aaron Glenn, or you can go spend $15 million for a safety who has proven himself, who's only 25. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Kind of scared to spend that much in year 2 of the rebuild. Let me ask you guys in the chat, how do you feel about TJ Hawkinson? Because something I was talking to Dosa Dion about last night and Rad is TJ Hawkinson, is his performance going to be has his performance been worth the amount of money that we're seeing tight ends start to go for, top tier tight ends? Is TJ Hawkinson a top tier tight end? I mean, we know TJ Hawkinson is great. We know what he's capable of. I think he's capable of more. But is he worth those big dollars? TJ Hawkinson has had many. The amount of flags that I have seen called on him this last year was baffling. It was actually unacceptable, is the word I would use. There were times where I was like, how do you not have the discipline to not false start right now? I mean, I'm just saying, here we go, Adam calling it out. Hawkinson has so much upside, but has delivered the same amount of production as Eric Ebron. Like, that's a take right there. That's a hot take. Here we go, Steve-O calling it out. TJ Hawkinson hasn't put up any better stats than Eric Ebron. Need to see more from him, coming from David. It's tough, man. I think TJ Hawkinson, there's an element to him that's kind of freaking me out, where it's almost too big for his britches. There's just some moments where I'm like, I just think you think you're bigger and badder and better than you're proving yourself to be. Also, what's the greatest ability? It's availability. Like, he's been injured every season thus far. And we knew the amount of targets that he was going to be taking this year. But shoot, man, like, there was just a point halfway through the season where I was like, Hawkinson, I need you to stop jumping. I need you to stop holding. I need you to actually be what we are all expecting you to be. What I really believe that TJ Hawkinson can be. I really think that Hawkinson can be top tier tight end. There's just, we got to put a little pressure on him. Because right now he's looking over his shoulder at who? Brock Wright? like he's looking over his shoulder and he's like, yeah, well, there's nobody here coming for my job. I am the tight end. And next year, I can ask for the big dollars. And that's what I'm worried about. Because at the moment, he's not worth it. Could he be? Yeah. Yeah, Christian Howell calling it out. He's a beast, but we need more from him this year. I agree, man. I agree. I see some false advertising with Hawkinson's run blocking. He was supposed to be awesome. He's been average at best. Yeah. I agree. Now, one thing I did see is some people were calling out Swifty. Some people were saying some stuff about Swift that, I would not trade him. I love DeAndre Swift. I think that guy has an attitude about him and is capable of being an outrageous running back. I think we're set at running back, which I cannot believe those are words that I'm saying out loud. We're set at running back. It's a weird thing to say here in Detroit. But yeah, no, definitely. I definitely think that we keep him. Definitely think we're set there. Don't make any rash decisions at the running back position. Lisa, I'm not saying that I would trade Hawkinson right now. I'm saying next year, when he asks for the big dollars, can we pay up? Should we pay up? And if that's being said, should we be looking at some tight ends this draft? Yeah, and you know what? Going back to Swift, he's great. He's just been hurt. Yeah, I think we put too much pressure on him. Without a wide receiver core, the amount of reps that he's taking, the amount of reps that Jamal Williams is taking, there's just a level, the check downs from Goff. Without a wide receiver core, you're putting a lot of stress on that running back duo, and we're seeing a lot of problems. So, yeah, no, I'm not saying that I think that we should just go right out of here and trade Hawkinson. I'm just saying when it comes to the big money, man, that's what scares me. Rob Swift with the Lions offensive line, they had Craig Reynolds looking like he was the next best thing. Our O-line, it is so fascinating to me. I love our offensive line is by far our best position group. And you watched what happened when Taylor Decker went down before game 1 and the immediate collapse. Because I think we're an A-grade, A-tier O-line. I really do. And then Taylor Decker goes down. We got a swap with Sewell. Ragnow goes down. We just saw everybody getting hurt. And it was a pretty wild time, but I really think that O-line is going to have a lot of success this year if they could stay healthy. Well, my friends, free agency as a whole, just to kind of come back to it, I think some people that I'd be willing to spend some money on, first and foremost, is Allen Lazard. That's somebody that I would like to target. Allen Robinson versus Marcus Williams. I'm going Marcus Williams. He's 25. The coaching staff knows him. The $15 million hurts. It's not like I'm sitting here saying let's go get him. But shoot, next week is gonna be fun. I think next week is gonna be a blast with the amount of stuff that we're gonna see transpire, and it's gonna be an exciting time for us here in Detroit, because we're really going to get a good eye. We're going to get a good visual on what Detroit is doing in this rebuild, the trajectory where we're going. I think it's going to help depict or really show us which path we're on. All right, everybody, I'm going to go eat some Sloppy Joes. It's about that time. I go to bed at like 8 p.m., so getting pretty sleepy over here. No, but seriously, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for just liking the stream, for chatting it up. Man, I cannot thank you all enough for just hanging out with me here today. Just in general, always liking the videos, commenting on them, and building out a Lions community with you guys has been one of the most fun things. I've only been doing this for 2 years, and in the 2 years that I've been doing this, it has been nothing but a joy. And I owe a lot of that to you. You guys are a great community. You guys are always super respectful. I love the conversations that we have regarding it. And yeah, Adam, my guy, the hair game is on point. Thank you. I almost put the hat on here, but decided I had a good hair day, so we're going to roll with it. Major League Lettuce. Wow. Good show. Super fun. Thank you, Rob Swift. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get ready for free agency. It's going to be a good time. And with that being said, remember what we read earlier in Aesop's Fables about the wolf. Hypocrites be hypocrites. I don't know. Have a good evening.